What's up, everybody? Welcome once again into the American Idiots show. I'm Money Mike, joined, of course, as always, by our wonderful panel. We'll start off with Manic Hispanic. Manic Hispanic, how are you doing this week?
Doing good, not too bad.
Have you given up the good fight yet, or is Donald Trump still going to be the president?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a finished fight.
Well, we'll get into that here in a little bit. Of course, he got some wins today, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. First, I do want to bring in, and of course, seeing as how I haven't done it the past couple weeks, I will play his music.
So why start now?
Hey, true. Why start it now? That's a good point. Oh, he's pointing at me. I've got to do it. I'm scared of him. Ladies and gentlemen, the pretty boy, Sean Castleberry. California. Okay, that's enough of that shit. Sean, stop. No. You're a middle-aged white man. Stop it.
Even my wife said that's enough of that shit.
Hey, she's on my side now. Anyway, with that being said, Sean, Manic Hispanic, how are you guys doing this week?
Not too bad.
Awesome.
I woke up in Biden's America. I'm very happy.
Not yet. Not until January 20th.
Not America yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Biden's America.
We still got a little ways to go. I mean, I'm excited too, but we still got a little ways to go. But with that being said, gentlemen, we're going to put the politics aside for the first little bit of this show and talk with a local band here in the Central Arkansas area. I'm pretty excited about this. I heard some of their music earlier, and we're going to play it as we go to commercial at the top of the hour. But we have Riverview here. We have Tyler, Jacob, Jeff, and Brady. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. How are you all?
Doing
Thanks
great.
for having us.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm doing
excellent.
pretty
Thanks
good. Thank you guys for coming on. Well, gentlemen, of course, I've got to ask the stereotypical first question. How did you guys come up with the band, and like how did you guys all meet and make this musical genius that is Riverview?
I don't know about musical genius,
but thanks. But I mean, so it started. What was it, Tyler? 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago. Yep.
About 2 years ago, Tyler was in a local band called Slick Grip. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Same sort of style of music. And he was busy with that, and I was just like, at that point, how old was I at that point, Tyler? Like 17, 18?
Yep. You were a youngin', man.
Yeah, I'm 22 now, so. But I was just like, hey, Tyler, you wanna make some music? And he was like, as much as I would love to, no. He was like, I'm just too busy right now. His band was playing like 500 people shows. They were doing big things. But one thing led to another, and that band kind of dissolved for whatever reason. And he said, hey, man, you want to do that band thing? And I said, hell yeah, let's do it. And so we recruited two guys. Tyler recruited this guy named Trevor. And I recruited a guy from college named Noah. Noah played bass originally, and Trevor was guitar and lead vocals. And so we practiced for a little bit. And then Noah had to step away because he needed to pay for his college and stuff. And so he was having to work full time, and he just couldn't, get it to work. And at that point, we were just 4 dudes jamming in Tyler's guest bedroom, getting the cops called on us for being too loud.
Yep.
Because at that time, Tyler didn't have electric drum set. We were playing his full drum set in his apartment. But so yeah, we Noah stepped away, and Trevor got dumped and just kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth without notice. So we were like, me and Tyler were like, screw it, we'll just write some songs. Which at that point we had kind of written, I would say we'd written half of 2 songs. One of which is the one we released earlier today. And me and Tyler were like, we'll just kind of write the music, and the band members will follow once we have some complete set songs written. And so that's what we did for a little while, and then we stumbled across good old Bradzilla below us here, and Tyler's like, I went to middle school or whatever it was with Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was like, he's really freaking good. And I was like, sure. We can't find anybody else anyway. So we brought Brady on. We just kept writing stuff. And then eventually we found our singer Garrett. I don't remember how. I think Tyler, didn't you find Garrett originally?
I really don't know, honestly. I just know we shot a bunch of messages out, and this guy was like, "Hey, I'm from Bald Knob," and we were like, Bald Knob, who lives there, And then he's like, "No, I can do it." And he sent a thing, and we were just blown away. I mean, I didn't think, talent like that existed in that area. Nothing against it, just it was shocking,
I remember Tyler sent me a message the night that he found Gary. He goes, I don't know who this guy is, and he's from Bald Knob, but holy shit. That's all he said. He was like, this guy's incredible. From Bald Knob?
Had to get him. So we got him. And then I saw Jeff actually post on Instagram. They have like some Arkansas music pages or whatever. And he was like, hey, I just moved here. I'm looking to play pop punk. And I was like, oh, well, my man, we need a bass player. So it just worked out, and I hit him up and sent him a demo. He's like, yeah, I like this. And now we're all here with you guys. That's pretty much how it went. It was complicated, but it all worked out.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sean, you got anything?
Yeah, so you guys have been together for how long now?
About 2 years.
So about 2 years, and you've been touring the local circuit here in Arkansas, or do you go abroad?
Well, we like playing shows and stuff like that, or doing much of anything with the band. Oh, okay, basically, no, we haven't done it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. Basically, we haven't done anything yet except record. I used to play back in the scene. I've been playing for about 10 years with various acts, and I've played all over Arkansas, the surrounding states, all that good stuff. And all these guys here, like I know Jeff has done quite a bit. He's from the Chicago area, so he's done a lot up there. So he hasn't played anything here yet, but that'll change. And I know Jacob and Brady and Garrett, they've all been like involved with music. I think Brady and I did like a rock school together. It was like a butt rock band, like when we were like 8th grade. And but yeah, I'm excited. The thing that just excites me about this project is like, aside from me, everyone else is brand new. And I just think it's good to have a fresh start and just to get a lot of people together that no one knows about. So you can just start playing and people be like, wow, like who are these people? Because I just think that's a good thing. Just to have new faces.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I first heard the song this morning, I was blown away. I was expecting, just that local indie, feel to it. But, and while it did have that good feel to it, it felt like something that was refined and was actually really good.
I appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it.
It was really good. Manic Hispanic?
Yeah, I was digging the music, but I'm not just a music guy. I like to read into the lyrics, and the one song that I guess is that the only song that y'all recorded?
So far,
yes.
Yeah. Just one.
Okay. The one song that I heard, that's what I was trying to listen to was the lyrics and reflect on some of that. A little bit confusing because you talk about not being able to sleep, but then the depression makes you sleep, and so it's like, well, which is it? Can you sleep or can you not sleep?
Makes sense to me.
It's deep, man. It's deep. Don't question it.
So yeah, that was kind of where I was coming from. I listened to it probably 7 or 8 times today.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
No, I'm a songwriter as well. So
Yeah.
that's really where I go to whenever I start listening to music. I mean, anybody can make a great beat and sit there and have you bobbing your head, but not everybody can get into serious, deep lyrics.
That's true.
So that's the part that I always go to whenever I start looking or listening to music.
Yeah. And our vocalist Garrett he's been through some stuff. He's a very depressed man, and it's definitely going to be showing with the lyrics for sure.
You
Very
guys are gonna rock, man.
angry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, can you make music without at least a little bit of depression? Let's be
Oh,
honest
of course. Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta
look at
keep-
Cardi B.
yeah,
She's
Look at
making
Justin
music.
Bieber.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, hold on. Let me classify. Can you make good music without a little bit of depression? You bring up Bieber. I mean, come
Hey,
on,
even
man.
I like the
Okay.
Bieber. I mean, come on.
Oh,
He's got some
wow.
good stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, fun fact, that's Jeff's favorite person on the planet, Justin Bieber.
Nice.
It is, man.
Okay.
I have a Justin Bieber chess piece, so I'll be waiting to bust that out at our first live show.
Nice. I like it.
Hold up now. Y'all just keep shocking me.
That's not accurate. I'm sorry.
See,
No.
see, I was waiting.
I wish I was that cool, I guess, but no. I think we're all kind of musically in the same ballpark and influenced by a lot of the same stuff, but we're also yet musically different too. So it's a healthy mix of being different musically, but in the same type of genre. So I think it helps. And since I'm new to Little Rock and to Central Arkansas and meeting these guys, I'm really excited for, I guess, things to come here, because it's been long quarantine, a lot of sending files, through email and none of us being together and playing. So I think we're all chomping at the bit to get our music recorded and be able to start practicing and playing. So hopefully not too long before that. So.
And that kind of touches on the next thing I was going to ask. Individually, what are each of y'all's top musical influences?
I mean, I can start. For me, man, I was growing up, my dad. I feel like everybody kind of at least starts with what their parents were listening to. For the most part, if you're 8 years old, you're not coherent with it. That new Blink-182 record, that is a masterpiece. You're Dad's got Willie Nelson on in the bedroom. That's just kind of. So growing up, my dad was a big hardcore punk guy and classic heavy metal. So there was always Metallica, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, and then stuff like Black Flag, always just kind of going around. At least that's what he introduced me to. My mom hates it, but it is what it is. But that was kind of my introduction into hey, I want to pick a guitar. Like Metallica especially, that's probably my biggest influence overall is Metallica. Just from the I don't know, it was just the thing that was I want to be like Kirk Hammett from Metallica. I want to play guitar like that.
Nice.
It kind of shifted. I've never wanted to be a guitar shredder per se. I've always been more enthralled with the rhythm aspect of it rather than playing some crazy solo. So that was that. And then as far as songwriting perspective, people I would say Green Day and AC/DC were probably two of the big ones. I've always been a fan of simplicity over technicality. Not to say that technicality isn't important in some instances, but I feel a lot of times, especially in some of the pop stuff, certain bands, they'll just be too. I found this a lot in what's called easy core, which was 4 Years Strong and some stuff like that. I felt they were trying to do too much with what they were kind of making. Green Day, it's they got one riff. There's the song written, throw some lyrics over it, and that's just kind of how I created my own style of songwriting and writing
Right,
stuff.
which pretty much came from that old punk scene.
Right, exactly. If you listen to those old Black Flag stuff, it's one guitar just chugging along as fast as it can.
Right.
That's kind of what I was exposed to, and that's kind of how I developed. I'd rather be simplistic and have a catchy melody than try to play the craziest thing possible. That's just kind of where I came from.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Who's it?
I think to kind of go along with what Jacob said, I think, influenced by a lot of old school rock, Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd for my dad's a big music buff. And then as I got a little older and stuff, it was like, okay, there's like different stuff than just this. Now I can, Napster was like huge when I was like a kid and stuff. So it was like, you could like literally find any artist you wanted. So it was like Pandora's box opening up. We were kind of spoiled compared to our parents' generation. So I found new metal bands like System of a Down, Korn, and I was like, this is kind of cool. And then I just kind of skyrocketed me into metal and rock and anything from like death metal I listened to like super emo indie shit that's like super girly. So I feel like I have a wide range, but I think as I got older, I found heavier music and I, was like, this is pretty cool. This is like way heavier. I thought like Metallica was like heavy. And then I was like, but there's other stuff out there. And then my mind was just blown. So.
What about you, Brady?
All right, I guess it's my turn. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes, I mean, my earliest musical influence, I think, that I can remember was probably NSYNC back when I was about 5 or 6.
Yeah, man.
And,
Yes.
All right, I
Not
got it.
expecting an NSYNC name drop. On this.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but I didn't learn a musical instrument or pick up a musical instrument until I was 13, I think it was. Originally, I wanted to be a drummer. I just never got around to actually trying it, I guess. And somewhere around age, like 10 or so or 11, I guess, got really into Guitar Hero and just kind of decided, I could keep buying all these games or you could pick up the instrument, take a little while, but then you could learn whatever, songs you want to jam to. And that proved to be a really big decision for me because I've been playing guitar pretty much ever since. So that's been about 12 years since I was 12 or 13 when I first picked up acoustic guitar. I've come a long way. I guess like I said, starting out with NSYNC, but once I started playing guitar, that's when I really started listening more to your pretty well-known metal acts of the 80s and 90s. I remember there was at one point I was looking at Metallica and I was like, no, they're way too heavy. I'll never get into them. And then, it didn't take very long before I was solidly into them and Megadeth and Anthrax. And
Yeah, I was gonna ask how you went from
Anthrax.
NSYNC to like
yeah, I don't know.
anything else.
It just happened one way or the other. But yeah, so there was one point where I thought Metallica would be too heavy for me. And then I got into all of those bands. I actually like Megadeth more than Metallica. And I remember another time I was looking at a magazine for Guitar World and it had a Eddie Van Halen section on it that I really wanted to like read a tab or something that he was showing, to play one of his songs. And then I saw like on one of the other features was Children of Bodom. Like they were featured on there and their song called Blood Drunk. I was like, well, that's pretty safe to say I'll never listen to something called Blood Drunk. And I mean, a few years later, I was very much into Children of Bodom. I haven't listened to them in a long time, but yeah, I've really come a long way from where I thought my, musical safe zone, I guess, was. I really expanded it quite a bit. Like recently, I've been listening to some prog rock, really good band called It Bites. Nobody's really heard of them before, but kind of in the mold of Genesis for a more popular band for reference. It Bites and King's X is another one. They're more along the lines of classic rock, but very good musicians. So nowadays I'm really just listening to more guitar oriented music that has a pretty high level of musicianship involved because I like to, improve my own playing that way by learning after them. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, that's cool. And guys, I really appreciate it. But I will say there are only so many people that are blessed with just pure talent from birth. And they're the ones that become drummers. Okay? The rest of y'all have to learn what you're doing
Yep.
You have to learn the chords in order to play them right. But a drummer can just get up there and just really do it. So from one drummer to another, sir, tell me what your influences were.
My man, and it's crazy how it all started because I was 10 and I remember it was like Christmas. My stepdad got a guitar and he made a joke. He was like, "Hey, like you can play drums." And I was like, that sounds cool. They bought a drum set, self-taught myself. I just opened the book, just learned how to, I guess, just looked at it. And then
They got a book for that?
Just like basic sheet music with drums. Wow. And I just remember I was like, okay, so this X up here is a ride. This down here is a bass. And I was like, okay, so I just did that. And then I got to the point where I couldn't, I guess, progress anymore. So I went to lessons, did that 6 years and graduated. So you're right. Drummers, it's just natural, man. Like, I mean, I just picked it up.
I've never taken a class and I play drums for our church now. I mean,
that's awesome. That's really cool. Music instruments like these guys, the difference. I was never into like classic rock or like a lot of people would hate me for this, but I think it's garbage, man. That's just me. I don't like it. Man. I don't like it at all.
That hurts my heart.
I can't
all right, never mind. Forget what I said.
I'm sorry. Oh, now, here's the thing. Like, I respect it, but I can't stand it. I just don't like it.
Hold on. What are we referring to as classic rock? Would be
I would say.
Look at his age, man. Anything from the 80s.
I would say anything from the 80s. Yep. Like I don't like Pearl Jam. I don't like Pink Floyd. I don't like what's some other I can't stand like Motley Crue. Terrible.
Hold on. No. I don't know that we can continue this interview.
No, I'm like they're all good. Just for me personally, I could never get I couldn't get into the Pretty Girls in the City or I couldn't do it, man, with all the nah. It's just not for me. Now, the bands that really got me into, I loved Linkin Park when they came out, like in 2000, 2001, like Paper Cut, Hybrid Theory. That was the album. That got me into it. And then the band that really got me started was Under Oath in 2006. I don't know if y'all were into them. They're Only Chasing Safety. That was just like, that's what got me into it. And then I was a scene kid. I loved Attack Attack. I loved I See Stars. Woe Is Me. Like, I wore the white skinny jeans, the bright colored band t-shirts. That was me.
My dude was rocking out to My Chemical Romance.
I loved My Chemical Romance, man. I was 7th grade. Thought I was so emo. And I was just like, I'm so depressed, like listening to like I'm Not Okay or The Black Parade. And I thought I was so cool. But I loved it. That was just my thing. Like, again, classic rock. I don't mean to, it was just never for me. And then I discovered, Linkin Park and then Under Oath, and then it just went from there. And now it's just pop punk bands. The newer ones, like The Story So Far, Neck Deep, Knuckle Puck. I'm not sure if I've heard maybe of those, but just kind of the newer age. Like, I like Blink, but I prefer the new modern twist on it. That's how it all started.
So when you guys mentioned classic rock, it's kind of odd to me because I don't hear any of the stuff that I'm used to hearing from classic, like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones.
No.
Look at their age, old man.
Yeah, hold on.
Now,
classic rock to me is what they were mentioning. So
now in drum school, I was forced to learn "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin. Hated every minute of it, but I did it.
That's like the inaugural thing for musicians.
You don't consider Bonham a great drummer?
Do what?
You don't consider Bonham a great drummer?
I think he's good. I don't know, man. People give me so much crap for it. I understand. I just
like
got into
growing
classic
up,
rock.
Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
Never did.
See, to me, I think Led Zeppelin are like, the grandmasters, the grandfathers of all hard rock, punk, heavy metal, death metal, everything. They started it all,
I would agree.
They were so phenomenal. Yeah.
I would say either them or like Sabbath.
I would say Sabbath.
I mean, it was definitely
definitely Sabbath.
Yeah, the British sound definitely brought about a change in music back in the late 70s, and man, it opened up so much. And then you had the Sex Pistols and the punk rock scene and everything that came out. You guys don't know what I'm talking about.
I've heard of those bands, man.
I got like the Ramones.
Give them credit.
I think a lot of us were like, that was like the first music we ever heard. Like, my dad was listening to like Deep Purple, like to Sabbath and Zeppelin and all that. And it's like, that's the first music that I heard that was like, I was like, okay, like I understand why people like this. Like, this is good. Like, it wasn't like listening to just talk radio that my mom threw on or something like that. Like my dad was actually passionate No, I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like with just AM, slow jams or something. My dad was like passionate about music. So like feeling the passion, I could get behind the music. Like I never got into like rap or hip hop or cause I couldn't understand it. I couldn't like vibe with it. Or the rock, I heard like, the first show I ever went to, I saw like some butt rock band like Tyler and them were talking about, and I just felt the live drums like crushing my sternum, and I was like, yo, like this is like it. Like I can't not feel this every time I go to a live show. Like I need like to feel the music, and I think that's what like all that music was for me. But then like Tyler said, like once I was like old enough to start finding my own bands and be like, I like that, but like this is more something new to my ears kind of thing. And then that's when I started finding like Linkin Park and it was like they did what those other bands did and they changed it, made it a little newer, or Linkin Park, mixed in like
how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. Not too far away from me.
I was about to
only
say
20 years.
Jeff is probably the most experienced like I am because we're 30. So our parents introduced us to that good stuff. I listened to all that stuff.
Right. Well, I'm 43, but I was raised. I attended First Apostolic Pentecostal Church on the corner of Ramble and Ravine in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Oh,
so
Pentecostal.
I was raised very much under the "Thou Shalt Not." And the first rock song that I actually got to hear was in '88, and that was Ozzy Osbourne and Lita Ford, "Close My Eyes Forever."
That's a hell of a jump.
At that point, I was asking friends that I went to school with, who is this guy? And they actually started introducing me all the way back to when he was in Black Sabbath. So I had to hide that stuff from my parents. And it was very different. But then I did discover NWA shortly after that. So I was very much a product of hardcore gangster rap and the rock.
My dude went from Pentecostal to NWA.
I respect
that jump though.
Yes.
I respect that.
That is awesome.
What you said.
I was surprised that none of you guys actually said like NWA or the Beastie Boys as an influence. But I get it. You guys are a lot younger than me. So
my stepdad did love Beastie Boys.
Michael's influence as music goes was Jethro Tull. So
I don't even know who that is.
I was about to say I'm 30. Who's Jethro Tull?
He's not just a guy in the band, okay?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Maybe I'm about to get kicked off the show, but I have no clue who Jethro Tull is. I've heard the name.
Wow.
Never heard
Tyler,
of
Tyler can play the drums like a god, but his music taste is rough. Let me tell you.
Millennials, man.
I mean, he's hating on classic rock. That's
what I'm saying.
That hurts.
I respect it, but I cannot stand it. I cannot listen to it. No.
For me, middle school through high school, I mean, there was just this big change. You went from the butt rock to Nirvana all of a sudden coming out, and then Green Day all of a sudden coming out. So in my life, right there during my formidable years, I got to hear all kinds of different things because you had the gangster rap and you had the regular storytelling rap and you had the different kinds of rock. So I really got a lot of that.
You were in high school in like an optimal
gathered
time frame.
I think that's where I really gathered a lot of my, what does this song say? I wasn't just going to be a blind sheep following a genre or an artist or something like that. What does this song say?
Now, to be fair, I think 2005 to 2008 was a pretty good musical, area for me as well.
Manic Hispanic and I though have like this unique perspective where we were bombarded with 80s hair band for a decade.
Oh,
and
boy.
We were so sick of it. It was just like, really? Are you kidding me? And Guns N' Roses came out. Nirvana came out after that. That Seattle sound changed music altogether, and it opened up so much for so many different groups out there. And it's like my wife actually, she was listening to this with me. She said you guys kind of like an early version of Nirvana. And and we were kind of arguing back and forth, because I was like, no, it's more like Panic at the Disco for me. It's more like the All American Rejects. I really like this. It takes me back to, when I was in Hawaii, the music that I was listening to that I just like to rock out with. And I thought it was amazing and awesome. And everybody was like, yeah, let's just go to the club and dance. It's like, no, this shit's good. You need to listen to this.
Hold on. I've got one final question for you, Tyler, and this will determine if I let you guys plug your stuff on this show. You better answer correctly.
Hey, Michael, no means no. They don't have to do you any sexual favors.
Oh, I knew it was coming. He owed me that one, everybody. But anyway, Tyler, I gotta ask. You bashed classic rock. What's your thoughts on Queen?
Ooh. I will say I remember listening to Queen on a cassette player when I was like 3 or 4. It was one of my earliest memories, and I did like whatever the song was. I thought it was cool because my mom liked it.
Fair enough.
So I want to say, what was it? It was I don't like. Was it We Will Rock You?
Yeah.
We Will Rock You. Yes.
They had it. My mom had a cassette player, and I was so young, like again 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there, and I was just like, I liked it because my mom liked it. So my mom's cassette player saved you on that one, man.
I would definitely recommend looking at the British rock sound.
Yeah.
And look at the Who, the Beatles, the Stones, Queen, all those guys. That's my music. That's what I love. The Stones
Sean's
are my
pushing
favorite
his
band.
older influences.
I see. There was one British old band I used to play, and I can't remember their name, but it was something British, and it was London Calling or something. I had to play it.
The Clash, man. The Clash.
Yes, I
Yes.
had to play that song on drums, so I've done that.
That's
before.
good. Okay.
Yep.
You are redeemed. You
absolutely are. Well, gentlemen, we're here at the top of the hour. I guess we'll go ahead and ask you guys, where can we find you? Where can we find your music and all that good stuff?
Can we play the song?
We're going to play the song going into break, Sean.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, we just released a song called Knuckles. Came out today at noon, about 8 hours ago. It's on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. I mean, basically anywhere you listen to music, you can find it. And then you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram at Riverview Band _, and then on Facebook at Riverview Official.
Okay, right on. Well, guys, without further ado, we will go ahead and play this song, Knuckles. I absolutely dig it, and I hope you guys will too.
Appreciate it.
Each and every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, join Money Mike, Tropic Thunder, Fox, the Manic Hispanic, and of course the pretty boy Sean for the American Idiots podcast, a look at the most divisive headlines in our country, and we present all sides of the argument. It's the American Idiots podcast live on Facebook and YouTube at the American Idiots podcast pages and on Talk Radio 49. Each and every Tuesday night, join Michael Carnahan and Lisa O'Brien at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Clear and Convincing podcast, where they look at the most important cases in our country's history, not from the court of public opinion, but from the court's perspective. It's the Clear and Convincing podcast right here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, along with Talk Radio 49. Each and every Sunday, join Duck, Michael Carnahan, and the pretty boy Sean Castleberry as they give you your weekly wrap-up in all things entertainment and conspiracy. It's the Shenanigans Podcast right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Talk Radio 49.
It's a great time to be a Star Trek fan. Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, and now the fan fiction Star Trek graphic novel, Star Trek Audacious. Join us in the Star Trek Audacious podcast to discuss the book and even add your ideas to upcoming issues. Star Trek Audacious, for the fans, and by the fans. Come join us.
Welcome to the American Idiots podcast with Money Mike, Tropic Thunder, the Manic Hispanic, the Pretty Boy, and Tara, where we look at the most divisive headlines that are dividing our country, and we present both sides of the argument. It's the American Idiots podcast live on Facebook and YouTube, and it begins right now.
Everything isn't meant to be okay. The television dreams of tomorrow. We're not the ones I'm meant to follow. But that's enough to argue. Well, maybe I'm the faggot America.
Okay, gentlemen, here we go. Regular show from here on out. But my goodness, I would just like to say, I got a message in the break from Jacob. He actually told me that version that I just played was actually an unfinished version without the actual drums that belong in the song. So with that being said,
it sounded
holy
different.
crap, it's even better than that. Like, my goodness, I can't believe it. Like, that's an amazing song to me. Like, it sounds like a product that I would flip on the radio and listen to. It's quality stuff, and I definitely recommend anyone that could go out there and download it to absolutely do so. I'm actually awaiting. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this final track. There we go. I will hopefully be able to get this final track set up, and I will play you guys a snippet of it. Hopefully I can get it set up and everything. I'm going to download it right now, and hopefully I can get it set up during this quick video. We're going to start off with Moderna releasing information about their vaccine being 94.5% effective against COVID-19. This is going to be from Yahoo Finance Live on YouTube.
We'll start with the news on the effectiveness of the vaccine, and then also the storage and distribution news they announced alongside this, certainly encouraging as well.
That's correct. So looking at the effectiveness of the vaccine, that 94.5% that they announced is the closest that they've got to what Dr. Anthony Fauci had previously said would be the best at 95%. They're a little bit higher than Pfizer right now, which announced last week that its 90% efficacy rating, was really positive. Again, a repeat of what was last week, which is this is just the information we're being told. The data has not yet been released, but obviously with the federal officials that have been, congratulating them and giving us all their pronunciations on the victory of this announcement, we can assume that the data will follow as well. But looking at it from that perspective, there was a call just now with all the federal officials, including Secretary Azar and Dr. Anthony Fauci, Dr. Collins among them. And the focus was largely about going forward. When will the distribution take effect and who will be given the vaccine first? And that remains on the table, as well as concerns about Moderna's output, which is relatively low right now, with 20 million ready to ship by the end of the year, with about 40 million per month of the doses ready to be produced each month after that.
So, I mean, and I apologize, it took me a second to get back up here, but definitely some optimism there amongst the world with this COVID vaccine. Of course, they still say that at best we're looking at the end of the first quarter of 2020 before it can be widely distributed, just because, we have a vaccine going through trials and things like that. Obviously, you still have time you're going to have to wait. You still have time you're going to have to do. You still have time you're going to have to do things. So, I mean, great news, but I feel like there's still more work to do. We'll start with you, Manic Hispanic, seeing as how Sean looks distracted.
Yeah, I was going to say it's great that it's 94% effective against COVID, but I'd really like to know what some of those side effects might be.
That's a good point. With a lot of these newer drugs, you see that you do have this problem with new issues, complications, things like that. Whenever you do have a new drug like this entering the market, you do see these side effects. I've seen a lot of people worried about the side effects. That's their main issue whenever they are advocating or saying that they won't take the vaccine. Sean, what would you say to the people that are, worried about the side effects of this drug?
What were you saying? Most vaccines don't do what? They don't change your physiology. They just trigger an immune response. My wife is like chiming in at this point. She actually went to she has some medical training. Mm-hmm. So like all these people freaking out over this, there's no reason to freak out, at all. It's just a vaccine. That's all it is. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to have, unless they're allergic to something that's in it, which is rare and could possibly happen. It's so rare, it's not going to happen to the majority of people. People just need to quit freaking out over it.
Absolutely. And I agree. People do need to stop freaking out about it. I think that, once again, I even think that releasing this information today, that it's 94.5% effective, I think that gets people going, yay, oh my God.
Right,
and they get optimistic.
They also made sure to point out that just because it is 94% effective doesn't mean that we can just return to life as usual.
Exactly. No. I don't think there is going to be a life as usual ever again. I heard a doctor once talking on an interview, and he was like, it's kind of maddening looking back on it that we'd shove 70,000 people in a stadium every Saturday for football. And, never thought that something like this could happen, and we are, even now with 20% capacity, I believe, we're seeing COVID spikes in football games being canceled right now. So definitely, there will be no life as usual again. but what I was getting at was I think that, without hammering the fact that we're still a long ways off, and that's one thing that Biden said earlier. We're still in for a dark winter. We need to be careful over this winter. We're still a long ways off from getting this vaccine widely distributed. I have a feeling it's going to be a situation where, the elders are vaccinated first, the women and children, et cetera, et cetera. Sean, shut the hell up. Nobody asked you. Give me 1 second. Let me finish. And then, of course, the younger, more healthier people are going to get access to it afterwards. Kind of like they do the flu shots. I think that's how they're going to distribute this. Now you can go ahead and say, fuck the boomers.
Yes.
Is that all you wanted to point out? Oh, okay. Manic Hispanic.
I understand how vaccines are supposed to work, but there are a lot of medicines out there that may not change your physiology, but they do mess with your system. They may give you the running shits. There's all kinds of things that can happen. And that's why I'm saying I would like to see the list of possible side effects. I mean, it could be anything from, like I said, the running shits to...
Yeah, but it's minuscule. It's minuscule.
Well, in comparison, I would rather have the shits than COVID-19. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. A lot of people are asymptomatic with COVID, so...
I mean... We just talked to somebody earlier who tested positive. I'm not going to throw their business out there like that, but, I mean, even he said that, it knocked him on his ass. So, I mean, I don't think COVID would be a fun experience. I'm not actively out there like, just give me this son bitch. Even though I have said that, and I do, part of me still feels this way. I wish I would just catch it so that I can get it over with type of situation, but, it is what it is. Once again, though, I hazard everybody who's sitting here celebrating this going, oh, my God, we're going to be able to do this and this and this, and yay, us. And, this doesn't move the timetable up. We still need to do what we're doing right now. We still need to socially distance. We still need to wash our hands, for crying out loud. We still need to, 6 feet apart. We still need to wear our masks, et cetera, until this vaccine gets widely distributed. You need to still follow those protocols. And one thing I did want to point out is, last week, the Trump administration proceeded to take quite a bit of credit for this vaccine moving along in the with the swiftness that it is. Not quite sure where he gets that from, that it's him and his administration, but yeah. Okay, Trump, I'll let you take that W if you feel like you need it after taking that massive L. I mean, Sean, any thoughts on that one?
No comment.
Okay. Manic Hispanic, any thoughts on the president taking credit for how quickly this vaccine is progressing?
Well, he did say that he was pushing every chance that he got. He would tell us that he was pushing to get this fast tracked. So, I mean, there's got to be some truth behind it. I'm not going to say that it was all him, but he definitely pushed more for it than the doctors seem to.
Absolutely.
No, the people that worked on the vaccine are the ones that created it and pushed for it. He just sat back for weeks and weeks and months saying, yeah, it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks. So many times he said the word 2 weeks that it reminded me of Total Recall, where, Arnold Schwarzenegger's going, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, But no, Donald Trump, I'm just going to say this for the record, had nothing at all to do with this vaccine. Nothing.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't like in the lab putting stuff together.
No.
But the medical team was saying, no, we're looking at years before we have anything.
I mean, I will say this, Sean, not to defend him, but, he may have released release some additional resources or something like that to be able to speed up the process. But
Well,
I don't think he needs to be out there claiming victory.
Yeah, but when you have the entire globe working on this, everyone
absolutely.
in Europe, everyone in America, everyone in South America, everyone in Africa, they're all working collaboratively together. Yes, of course it's going to move faster because the whole world is working at this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If we stop the wars and all the basically capitalist bullshit in this country, we would have knocked this out 6 months ago.
Oh, well then, holy shit. Sean Castleberry may agree with something Donald Trump did, but we'll get to that here in a moment. I do want to...
We'll see.
Well, before we move on, I would like to point out one thing, man.
Go ahead.
All these people that think this vaccine is going to change their DNA and release nanobites and all these crazy things, they need to get
the mark
past
of
that.
The beast.
Listen,
Thank you.
If the government wanted to add that kind of thing to a vaccine, they can do it to any of the millions of vaccines that we already have to have just to go to school.
Right.
They could already add it to the vaccine for flu.
They could add it to your booster shot from the moment you're born.
To do that already and have people full of nanobites within 2 or 3 generations. So don't think that this whole COVID thing was just so that they could do this.
Right.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I absolutely will applaud that and agree with you there on that, Manic Hispanic. It's not a conspiracy. Pfizer and Moderna, which I've never heard of Moderna until today. Pfizer and Moderna are not conspiracing with the government or conspiracizing.
It's like a huge player in the pharmaceutical industry.
Do I know?
Moderna.
Okay, did I freeze or did Sean? Okay, you're good. You're good. Go ahead and talk.
For a second, man. The government was trying to quiet you.
I will give some props to you there that the government is trying to censor how can I say it, right-wing conservatives and left-wing progressives all over the country. I have been noticing a trend on both sides where they are trying to shut down the right-wing extremists, if you will, and the left-wing extremists, if you will. Roger Waters, who was in Pink Floyd, has actually come out and was talking about that as far as, communists being shut down, leftists and progressives being shut down all over Twitter, all over Facebook, exactly how they are shutting down, the right-wingers on Facebook and Twitter right now. So unless you're a centrist, you're not going to be heard. Unless you're a neoliberal, you're not going to be heard.
And that's absolutely asinine in this country and shouldn't happen. But,
Well, I mean, Twitter and Facebook are both private organizations. They can do whatever they want. Yeah.
Exactly.
So everybody can go over to Parler if they want to, and all the liberals can, the progressives can take it over.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay, gentlemen, I promised him I would get this in. So real quick, we're going to play the final version of that Knuckles song that we listened to earlier. And he just sent it over to me. So here we go, guys.
Procrastinate my obligations. I'm taking my time back. I'm shedding my flight. Bad with communication. I blame my education. I get some trouble. Dragging my knuckles. Who I wanted to be. Misplaced honestly. I'm anxious and angry. Left feeling empty. Why do I never sleep? So much for counting.
All I'm saying is it's good. It's good shit. It's good shit. It's fucking amazing. Go on and download it, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm going to do it later tonight. It's fucking good music.
No, I mean, like, I don't know how they felt about it when I said that it reminds me of the American Rejects, but it sounds a lot like the American Rejects, and I
It's
love that.
very,
I
it's
love
got a
that band.
poppy feel to it. It's got a
Yeah.
pop punk feel to it, and I like that. I'm a big
Yeah.
pop punk fan, so yeah.
I mean, back in the 90s when I was in my 20s, that's what I was listening to, and I really liked it a lot. So, you know, I think they got a good thing going. You know,
I think if anybody offended him, it was this guy down here.
well, the whole classic rock thing, you know, I mean, like, I had stepped away to the bathroom, and my wife was like, they said classic rock was Girls, Girls, Girls from Motley Crue. And I was like, did I miss that? Did I really miss that? Because classic rock actually starts from 1960 until 1980.
Yeah.
And it's everything in between those 2 decades. So
that's why I was saying you had to pay attention to their age.
Yeah.
Right.
What they consider classic.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, and
So
technically
them,
before too
hair
long,
bands are classic rock. Yeah.
before too long, the 80s aren't even going to be classic rock anymore. Nirvana's going to be classic rock before too long.
But the 80s will never be classic rock because classic rock is only from 1960 to 1980.
Sean Castleberry, for your age, the 80s are not classic rock. For my age, the 80s are considered classic rock.
At the point you step into an elevator and can hear a song that you thought was hard, that's
yeah. I'm just saying
that's considered a classic.
I'm just saying. Sean, stop fighting it. Stop fighting it. You're getting old. You're becoming a boomer, Sean. Embrace it.
No, I won't fight it because there are categories to music. Okay, classic rock is a specific type of music. Okay. Then you go into hair band after classic rock. Then you go into grunge, the Seattle sound, right? Would you agree or not?
My dude here is gonna die on this fucking soapbox he's standing on right now. He's gonna die on this hill.
I will.
Yes, there are different categories of music.
Yes, absolutely.
Categories and subcategories, and I understand they have an actual name for them.
But Sean, what you would consider classic.
When you're looking at a 20-year-old,
what we're telling you is what
right
you would
now,
consider classic rock is not what I would consider classic rock, or these gentlemen would.
It's not an arbitrary designation, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Despite the fact that it does have an actual name, when they look at it, they think, "Oh, that's something from way back when," and it's classic.
Yeah, I get that. 20 years ago to them is like ancient. I get that because, like, I used to think that same thing about Elvis. You know, when it was only 30 years before me.
Hey, I like Elvis.
But see, I don't know how they're teaching music nowadays. So,
right, I don't either.
How many of them said that they went to school? Was it just the drummer?
Yeah, and when the drummer told me he didn't like John Bonham, I was just like, oh, I couldn't believe it. Like, the greatest drummer of all time, and he doesn't like him. I was heartbroken. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you know, to each his own. Everybody has their own opinion, but you know, I would honestly say that most people that have studied music would actually, you know, especially rock music, would say John Bonham was the greatest drummer of all time.
Anyway,
except
with
for
that being said,
you would consider, like, you know, the drummer from the Police to be the best.
You know what? Fuck you. I don't even know who the drummer from the Police is. The only person I know in the Police is Sting.
Strike yourself roughly.
Okay, there you go.
Right, thank you.
Happy? Anyway, okay, back on topic here, y'all. So, actually, I got this one from the wonderful Manic Hispanic's wife. She posted this article earlier about Biden's cancer charities. Their board of directors is making a ton of money. Their president, you know, the people that are running the organization. So, with that
we
being
live in a capitalist society. What's wrong with that?
All charities do this.
Calm down. Calm down. Hold your horses. I'm not bashing it.
No, I am.
Horses. Hold your horses. Breathe. Anyway, with that being said, is it commonplace amongst charities, or is it fair to the donors? I think it's absolutely commonplace. I can guarantee you one big one. Wounded Warriors. They pay their board of directors 7 figures a year easily. Yeah. So I mean, this is commonplace.
They are the worst charity in the United States. They give away patches and stickers to veterans, and they pocket the rest of the money. They're bullshit. If anybody gives money to the Wounded Warriors program, I'm going to tell you right now. I know only 2 people watch this at a time. You're a fucking idiot.
God damn it, Sean.
No, they just may be misinformed, man.
They may be misinformed. This is true. They may be ill-informed, Sean. Calm down.
All the information of humankind is right here at the touch of your fingers. You can actually do a Google.
Sean, what about little old ladies? What about little old ladies that don't like
you? Know how I feel about boomers. I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah, you're damn right you're not. Shame on you. Anyway, with that being said, I will say, no, it's not fair. I think that if you operate in this capacity, whether you're a president, a CEO, or something, it should not be a job. You should be a volunteer. You should not run any charity as a business organization. I think if you do start to get to that point where you operate
for free,
Sean, I've been trying to get my damn point out for 5 minutes here.
Okay.
If you are operating a charitable organization as a business, and yes, this includes the NFL and the NBA, Sean, shut the fuck up. You should lose your tax deduction. You should lose your tax exempt status for that charity. I think that at that point it becomes a business. If you're paying these people multi-millions of dollars to run a charity, guess what it is? It's no longer a charity. It's a multi-million-dollar business. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, you have to pay the employees that work for it. You have to pay and the CEOs.
Why is anyone a full-time employee of a charity?
Because they need people to actually work there to keep it running.
So then it's not a charity. It's a business.
Well, you can argue that it's a business, but in a capitalist society, you can change the rules and say, oh, it's a charity, and we're going to pay the CEO 7 figures because that's how capitalism works.
Well, I really think that there should be a cap on what people can make from a charity.
I mean when you look at UNICEF, right? It is not a business; it's a charity, but it's so huge worldwide.
You have to have organizers.
It has to be run like a business, right? But some people take advantage of that and abuse it. Just like.
So my question is this, though. Why are you not taking those profits? Why do you even have a profit as a charity? But if you are having these profits, why are you not taking those profits and putting it towards what the people are giving you?
Charities don't have profits.
What?
They're not allowed to have profits. They're non-profit organizations.
So then where are these millions of dollars coming from if they're not from profits?
Donations.
They're paying their employees. If a CEO,
so where is the money coming from?
Donations.
Donations.
X amount of every dollar that comes in gets split up in different ways.
In most veteran charities, and I actually used to raise money for veterans charities. In most veterans charities, I think 13 cents of every dollar, and that is absolutely abysmal, by the way, and shame on anybody. But in most veterans charities, 13 cents of every dollar go to the programs that you're funding.
But here's the thing, Michael. You have people that, someone has to run the organization, right? That's a full-time job. So that person has to be paid a salary, right? Is that correct or not?
But he's thinking
it have to be a full-time job.
Okay, so it's a full-time job. So then he has a secretary. He has an XFO, right? So that person has to get paid. Then you have management that is in charge of people that actually collect the donations. All those people have to get paid. So a big organization like UNICEF or the Salvation Army or any of these charities have thousands of employees. They all have to get paid, right? So yeah, some of them get paid more than others. And what you call profits is actually what goes into it. Again, the capitalist system allows this to happen. It requires it to happen.
I would just like to say I think that this needs to be changed.
Well, then
If
change
you're
if
you're working for a charity,
and it won't happen.
if you're working for a charity, you shouldn't be making multi-millions of dollars.
Well,
I don't think
then you need-
anybody. I don't think
then you need a-
anybody fucking gives money to the fucking Wounded Warriors and says, "Hey, here's some money for your yacht party." Which, by the way, it has been. I CNN expose. I'm not just throwing that out there willy nilly. CNN expose showed that some of the donations went to a yacht party. For
the only way
these
you get out of that is to stop a capitalist system. Capitalism encourages such things because if you have a yacht party,
But you're blending charity with business.
No. If you have a yacht party, then you're going to have rich people show up to give bigger donations. That's why they do yacht parties, so that they can get more money from their friends, right? You still have to compete against other businesses. You have to do it. Capitalism is all about competition, promotion, right? What else? Advertising. They have to get everything out there. You have to spend money to make money. You have to. That's a capitalist system. It's a terrible system, and it doesn't matter who's involved in it. They all have to do the same thing, whether they're a charity or a business. They all have to do it.
And that's why I'm saying that I think there should be a cap on the salary you can have.
I would at least agree. I mean,
Thank
if
you,
you're working
comrade.
for a charity,
Thank you.
if you're working for a charity, you should not be living in fucking like an NFL football player. Which I mean,
I don't care what you're living in. I think money should come from the organization.
Do what now?
I don't care what they're living in. I just don't think the money should come from the organization.
But that's a part of capitalism. That is a problem with capitalism. That's what's going to happen no matter what.
My argument though is, Sean, here's an argument for you. Minus the mega churches, a good majority of churches pay their pastors for their service. Right. They don't pay them multi-millions of dollars, except for mega churches.
Yeah, that's because they're not good enough to swindle people out of money.
Damn,
if
I thought I was
they would be rich.
That one.
No,
damn it, I thought I was going to be rich. That one.
I mean, look at the big giant Pentecostal church here in Little Rock.
Six Flags Over Jesus?
Yes. That preacher makes 7 figures. He requires every member to give 20% of their income. They have to sign a contract to become a member of that church. 20% of their income goes into his pocket. That guy drives a Lexus. He wears $10,000 suits.
What does his parishioners wear and drive? Not
Overall,
Lexuses, I'm assuming.
They're fucking farmers. They're fucking poor-ass, dirt poor people that go over there and give him all his money. But they do it because they want to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. That big giant mega church over there on I-40.
I know.
I mean, it's all a scam.
I know our big mega church in Springdale, Shiloh, the gentleman had like an exorbitant freaking house and shit up there in Springdale. So yeah.
Right.
They definitely, some of them do make quite a bit of money, but my point is this: like, I agree with Manic Hispanic. You should cap it. Hey, here's what you need to live on.
You can't
bingo,
cap
bango.
it. Hey, if you cap it, then you're becoming what I am. Okay, in a capitalist society, there are no rules. It's a free market. Do what you want. Fuck everybody.
Well, then hold on. Then the NFL's a communist organization.
No, it's not.
Because they have a salary cap. Do they not? They have a salary cap.
Do they really, though?
Oh, absolutely. Franchises get fined for going over the salary cap.
But doesn't it increase? Doesn't it increase every year? Doesn't it get bigger every year?
No, absolutely not. They have to go through the CBA to increase or decrease the salary cap.
But they
collective bargaining agreement.
But they can increase. Okay, a real salary cap means that everyone makes the same across the board. You can't tell me that the quarterback for the New York Jets makes the same as Tom Brady.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, then there's no real cap. It's bullshit.
But the teams, I guess the cap is on the team, not the player.
to an extent it is, but how many people are paying tickets to go see the New York Jets versus the Patriots for the last 20 years?
Touche.
Look at the revenue.
Sean's gonna sit here and find a way to weasel out of anything I bring up.
Yes, I will. Yes.
Damn it. I still fucking can't believe you told me that they're a charitable organization. I don't understand that at all.
NFL teams are a charitable organization. Yes.
God damn it, the American Idiots is more of a fucking charitable organization than the NFL. I'm just saying.
Right? And if you want to send your donations in, you go ahead and, send them forward straight to me. Just email me at Sean_Castleberry@yahoo.com, and I'll go ahead and take care of that for you.
My dude just gave out his email. He's about to get a lot of fucked up emails.
I am.
Oh, y'all. Okay, I told y'all we don't have very much to go. We're down to the final two topics here. It was a slow news day. Slow news week, honestly. Yeah, for real. President Trump is continuing to block the Biden transition team from briefings. So we have a clip from CBS this morning. I believe this aired yesterday.
CBS News is now projecting the winner of all 50 states in the presidential election. And despite Joe Biden's lead, 306 to 232 in Electoral College votes, President Trump still will not concede. Last night, the president tweeted, "I won the election," even though he is behind by more than 5.5 million votes. Twitter quickly flagged Mr. Trump's claim, noting official sources called this election differently. A day earlier, Mr. Trump saluted a rally from his motorcade as thousands of Trump supporters claimed election fraud. Again, there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud, and none of the president's lawsuits have the potential to change the results. But here we are. Weijia Zhang is at the White House for us. Weijia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tony, and good morning to everybody. President Trump's state of denial is delaying the transfer of resources and information. Joe Biden's chief of staff said their scientific advisors are meeting with vaccine makers in the coming days, but said they should also be meeting with current government health officials, something the White House tells CBS News is not happening.
As President Trump played golf at his club in Virginia on Sunday, two of the top doctors on the coronavirus task force spoke publicly about the importance of working with the Biden team.
This is not a political issue. This is an issue of public health and saving American lives.
It's almost like passing a baton in a race. You don't want to stop and then give it to somebody. You want to just essentially keep going. And that's what transition is.
President-elect Joe Biden's chief of staff said they need to learn more about implementing a vaccine.
Our experts need to talk to those people as soon as possible so nothing drops in this change of power we're going to have on January 20th.
But the White House said details about a vaccine are already available on the CDC website and said there are no plans for the task force to meet with Biden's team. The West Wing staff appears to be taking cues from the president, who for the first time ever seemed to acknowledge he lost the election, tweeting he won because the election was rigged. But Mr. Trump quickly backpedaled, declaring he wasn't conceding. There is no evidence the election was rigged. The campaign has filed or publicly backed nearly 20 lawsuits with little success. In Pennsylvania on Sunday, the legal team dropped a major portion of its federal lawsuit over mail-in ballots. Even a win in this case would not change the results. Still, President Trump's baseless claims of fraud are fueling his supporters. Mr. Trump rode through the crowds as thousands marched through the streets of Washington, D.C. on Saturday.
We are the majority.
While the protests were largely peaceful, as the night wore on, fights broke out between Trump supporters and counter-protesters. D.C. police made 21 arrests and 4 police officers were injured while responding to the clashes.
Well, President Trump plans to end his first term with a crackdown on China. CBS News has learned that over the next few weeks, the administration promises to take what it calls historic actions to protect U.S. interests, like restricting trade and imposing more sanctions. Gail.
Weijia, thank you very much.
Okay, gentlemen. I did not mean to hit that again. Dana says the clip that was just shown reminded her of the screenshot circulating around Facebook that Trump supporters are lapping up that shows Trump won by 410 electoral votes. I did not see that, so I'm not sure exactly what she's referring to, but it's possible, I guess. Colt 45 seems to believe anything. But with that being said, I want to talk about, obviously, the precedent that President Trump is setting, a dangerous precedent. You're talking about he's telling them that they're not allowing Biden's team into the COVID briefings because any information about the vaccine's public knowledge. But I'll play along with that. Where I can't play along with is, why are you not allowing him to have national security briefings? Why are you not allowing him to have these briefings that are literally going to be imperative to allowing the regular course of government to continue come January 20th and 21st? Like Dr. Fauci said, you kind of want it to be like a baton race. As soon as you hand off the baton, the next one goes. We just keep chugging along. This is dangerous to me, and possibly the most dangerous thing that the president has done thus far, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, he got all of his information that he needed, all his briefings, everything. President Obama didn't do this to him. He's doing it out of spite, and it's wrong because he's just a small petty man. He feels that he's been done wrong. He's putting all these lies out there that it's been rigged. I mean, it's just setting a dangerous precedent. And other countries like North Korea look at this and they're like, well, look at America. Look at the failed system of American capitalism and look at what their leaders do. They can't even have a legitimate election. Everyone needs a dictatorship. So all these dictators all over the world now are pointing their finger at America, the embarrassment that has become our nation. And they're saying, this is what happens when you have a free market capitalist society. This is what America really is. It's been a lie from the beginning, and it's a lie forever. And people are going to believe that. I mean, look at all the nations in Africa, all the dictators that are over there. They're all speaking out against our system. People trust that things are made in America are good quality products, but fuck our political system because it's all fake. It's all a fraud. We can just do what they do over in Africa, what they do in North Korea and all these other countries. I mean, he's delegitimizing our entire system. And it's wrong, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen. Someone should remove him from office at this point because he's a piece of shit, and what he's doing is wrong.
And I want to get into that in just a moment, but Manic Hispanic, real quick, I'll get your thoughts. What do you believe is? Help me understand this, maybe. I don't even know if you can figure this out.
I don't think there is any understanding. I believe the same thing, that he is throwing a fit. He's having his little tantrum. He's doing it out of spite. Whether he believes that the election was rigged or not, come up with some evidence.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying.
If you're going to say, I'm not going to allow him in because the election was rigged, okay, where's your evidence?
My thing is this, though. Even if we have a potential for the presidency to be decided in a court somewhere because it's that close, and Trump, let's play fantasy world here. And Trump has all these cases, and all these votes are going to shrink, and Trump's all of a sudden going to win. Even then, until this is cleared up in a court of law, Biden, in my opinion, should still be allowed to sit in on these meetings for the potential that he will become president of the United States on January 20th.
Right, but I guess what Trump is looking at is the December 2nd deadline.
Do you think he'll give up on December 2nd and say, okay, here's what we got. Here's, we'll start briefing you?
I don't think he has a choice at that point, because then Biden is truly the president.
That's the certification date, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, with that being said, the Biden team has said this week, and Sean, you alluded to this earlier.
Oh, he didn't allude to nothing.
He alluded to this earlier in the show, saying that, potential that the president needs to be removed from office. The Biden team has actually said that they are looking into legal recourses to force the president's hand into making him give them these briefings and making him allow them to sit in on these briefings. Do you believe? I've never heard of this. Do you believe that?
But like I said, I think it all comes down to that deadline. As long as it could possibly be proven that things were amiss, then there is a leg to stand on. But once that deadline rolls around, if you haven't done anything, you haven't produced any proof or evidence or anything that backs what you're claiming, then it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, and you saw the protesters, and this is what I mean when I say what he is doing is very dangerous. Yes, there was probably going to be protests in the wake of either gentleman winning this election.
Right.
But the continued protests, and the counter protests and the violence that it's inciting, like Sean said, the world is watching us right now, and our enemies are, kind of smiling like, hey, these guys used to be the pillar of, what you wanted to be, but deep down, look at them. They're no better than us. Look, these guys are attacking each other in the streets. And that's the scary part about this is, Sean's completely right. That's the danger here are these, continued protests because people are still buying into President Trump's bullshit. Sean, I asked you, I asked Manic Hispanic, but the Biden team came out this week and did say that they are looking into legal recourses to force the president's hand into making him allow them to sit in on these briefings. I asked, does he think there's anything? He said it would probably not rear its head until that December 2nd certification deadline. Right. Is there really anything Biden can do until December 2nd, or does he kind of just have to bide his time and, say, hey, fuck Trump?
No. I mean, this has happened before in the past. Yes, and so like Nixon. Nixon was a dick before he went out. Different things like that. It's happened where somebody's been beat.
Hold up, Nixon was a dick to his own vice president?
Yes. Yeah, he did. He didn't want him to have any part of it because he was getting thrown out of the office. I mean, he was leaving in disgrace. Right. So, different presidents have done this in the past, and it just shows you the pettiness and the immaturity of this person. I mean, I hate to say it this way. There's no other way to describe Trump except he's an all-around piece of shit. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. He doesn't respect the office of the presidency. He doesn't respect the country. He doesn't respect the citizenry. All he's done is try to do everything he can to make some kind of advantage for himself. In fact, the money he's raising right now is working to get him out of debt. You've seen this, right?
Yes. Tara
Yes, he is bilking his own supporters to get him out of debt. I mean, what kind of piece of shit does that? It's just wrong.
I mean, especially one that said that he's so rich that he's not going to take a single check from being president of the United States, and he fully funded himself the election or the campaigns, et cetera, et cetera.
Lies. I mean, he's all around the worst president we've ever had in the history of this country. It's sad.
Well, to be fair, I think he did give every one of his checks to some sort of government organization.
Yes, he did.
He did do
So,
that, but
I mean,
he also
that
cost
one
us,
wasn't a lie.
but he also cost us 10 times that much every time he went on a golfing trip.
Touche. Good point. I actually don't mind that thought, though. You know, I guess a lot of presidents aren't as rich as Trump, but, you know, that was one thing that he did that I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, Sean, now we're getting to the point where you may actually agree with the President of the United States, the current President of the United States. Breaking today, Trump is ordering 1,500 troops to be withdrawn from Iraq and Afghanistan by the time he leaves office. Pentagon officials are saying that they expect the order to be given by the end of this week at the latest. With that being said, apparently this is against the advice of his Joint Chiefs, as well as the Pentagon, who are saying that this should be merit-based. This is going to leave a problem within the countries of Iraq and Afghanistan, one which, you know, we saw with ISIS. They said that something like that could happen again. And, you know, I go back to Manic Hispanic, we talked about this earlier, and I go back to kind of like what Colin Powell told George Bush before they invaded Iraq in 2003. If you break it, you buy it. Unfortunately, we haven't fixed it. You know, and it's been, 17 years now with Iraq.
What do they need to fix?
19.
What do they need to fix it?
You need to make it stable. You need to be able to leave the country.
Done in 17 years?
You know how to make it stable? You know how? Get the fuck out. That's it. Really simple.
So you're saying fuck them?
Yes, get the fuck out. They are a sovereign nation. All the nations of the Middle East are sovereign, okay? Leave them the fuck alone. Stop fucking with them. That's why 9/11 happened, was because we were sitting there poking a stick at that rattlesnake like
what about Bobby Sue Iraqi that fucking doesn't want to live under a fucking oppressive regime, though?
Then move.
How many Iraqis and people in the Middle East do you know that have the fucking money to fucking do that besides the wealthy? And those are the ruling class.
Then they can have their own civil war. I don't know why the U.S. has to be the police state for the entire world.
I can't go to Switzerland. I can't afford it. You have to have $1 million to become a Swiss citizen, right? You have to have.
Why are we not bashing the Swiss there too on their immigration policy?
No, but because that's their policy. They're a sovereign nation. We need to stay the fuck out. We're not the police of the world. We don't need to be making money doing this. End all the wars, close all the bases, bring all our troops home. That's what we need to do.
Well, Sean, you were just shaking your head saying no when I said that Trump ordered 1,500 troops home, and yet now you're agreeing with him.
It's not enough. Okay, 1,500 people. That's
1,500 people is a majority of what we have over there right now.
3 companies. That's it. 3 companies.
That's a majority of what we have in the 2 countries right now. I believe between the 2, we have like 2,200 troops in Iraq and Afghanistan.
You really believe that?
They did a breakdown earlier.
How many bases are in those areas?
Sean, you're talking about bases, though, that are not fully functional like they are here in the U.S.
It doesn't matter. How many bases are there? It's more than 2,200 people. Don't listen to those numbers, okay? It's more than that.
With that being said, I would agree with the Joint Chiefs in saying that it will destabilize the area, and we will have this fucking problem here in 10 more years.
No, we won't.
Oh, absolutely.
It's none of our business.
What happened in Afghanistan? We fucking helped them. We left them. And guess what happened? The Taliban happened. Guess what happened from there? 9/11.
We created the Taliban. We created ISIS. We did those things. Don't say we didn't. We created both of those.
We created both of them because we moved too quickly and allowed them to take power.
No, we created them because we had interest in oil. That's the only reason we've ever been in the Middle East. We don't give a shit about the people. We don't give a shit about their religion. We don't give a shit about their government. It's all about oil. That's it. Who controls the oil? Who can keep the prices low? That is it. No one cared about 9/11. No one in this country at all gave a shit about that except for the 2 weeks after it happened. After that, let's go to war. Let's go get our money. Let's go make money for oil. That's it.
I don't think anybody, I know myself personally, never said, let's go fucking get our fucking oil. I'm pretty sure I
Really?
said, let's go get that son of a bitch and fuck him up.
Which one?
Just saying.
Which one? Which son of a bitch?
Fucking Bin Laden.
Was it him?
Goddamn right it was.
Are we sure?
Goddamn right.
I mean, we can go back all day long because 11 of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Did we go after Saudi Arabia
Sean,
at all?
they were
No.
trained by the Taliban. They were trained by the Taliban.
It doesn't matter. 11 of the terrorists were
They
from
were
Saudi Arabia. 11 of the terrorists were from
Okay,
Saudi Arabia.
yes, their citizenship may have been from Saudi Arabia, but guess what? When they were fucking doing what they were doing, they were fucking representing the Taliban. They were trained by the Taliban. They were radicalized by the Taliban. They represented the Taliban.
Bush was blowing fucking Saudi Arabia, holding their goddamn hands, kissing them on the fucking mouth, you know, getting fucked in the ass so he can get money for oil, and so Dick Cheney can get money for Halliburton. We can go back and forth all day on that.
Hispanic, you're being quiet over here. I'm going to allow you to talk.
I'm just trying to figure out why y'all left out the CIA that clearly had stuff to do with bringing down those towers.
Oh, God damn it.
No!
God damn it.
No! Don't
Hold
even
on now.
go there.
I did not expect the
Inside job,
tinfoil
man.
hat to come from the Manicus.
Come on, man.
It was not an inside job. It was not an inside job. No. I'm usually the person everyone hates the most. Don't do that. Don't go down the Alex Jones road. Don't do that.
U.S. government creating support for the war they wanted.
No.
No, actually, if that was true, it would have been Iraq. I'm just saying. If that was true, we would have went and fucked up Iraq.
We're going to have a whole show just about 9/11 one night.
Hold on, we already did that on Shenanigans.
No, but I'm talking about American Idiots needs to do a show, and we need to talk about all the conspiracy theories and everything that's going on.
We are about to go into the slow time in politics, so yeah, we probably could dedicate a whole show just to 9/11.
Right?
But, I mean, honestly, though, you look at it, and once again, I think it's a stupid call. I think it's Trump doing what Trump wants to fucking do. They made an illustration as to a checklist. Trump promised to withdraw the troops, so he's gonna check that off before he gets out of office. No matter what the fuck the Joint Chiefs and everybody else is telling him, he's gonna fucking do it because he's Donald goddamn Trump. So I think this is what it is.
Complaining that America is putting their nose in things that they shouldn't, and then on the other hand, you're saying, "Oh well, we don't need to leave them there."
Right.
Absolutely
we need to
not.
have troops over there.
Absolutely not. I don't think you should leave those poor people to fucking have to deal with what the fuck we're protecting them from right now. Which we are protecting them from a fucking extremist regime being able to come in. We're still fighting Al Qaeda. We're still fighting Al Qaeda in Afghanistan.
People in the Middle East support the theocratic.
Sandy said 9/11 happened at the hands of Bush administration. Yes, our troops are there for oil politics and continuing to be pawns for politicians' BS. Okay, anyway.
But anyway, all the people that are in the Middle East, they support the theocracy. They're Muslim, right? They believe in jihad. They believe in Islam. They don't care, about capitalists coming over there and trying to save them.
So then why are they not electing these leaders of these jihadist organizations in their free elections?
A lot of them do.
I haven't seen one.
Egypt has gone extremely conservative towards their theocracy.
Egypt has nothing to do
Saudi
with Iraq
Arabia
and Afghanistan.
is extremely conservative towards their theocracy.
Egypt has nothing to do with Iraq and Afghanistan.
They're in the Middle East. I'm talking about all the nations of the Middle East.
Two separate countries. Okay. Why are we whispering?
You started it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, if you look at Iraq, we removed their leader, right? We put our little puppet leader in there. The CIA did this. Who took over? The Ayatollah Khamenei, right? The Ayatollah Khamenei. That's it. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. He took over. Then it went from women being able to dress like our women over here in America to wearing the fucking burqas from head to toe, right? Extreme religious theocracy throughout the entire region. And that's what's going to continue to keep happening as long as capitalists go over there. If we leave them the fuck alone, guess what's going to happen? Their people will revolt. They'll have civil war. They'll be able to have freedom because you can only have freedom if you earn it yourself. You can't be given freedom.
Yeah, we've been over there 17 years and it's not safe.
This is true. Well, Sandy says their country, their beliefs, and their issues. We have no business being there.
That's right.
Bring them
and
home.
You know what? I'll pay $10 a gallon. I don't give a shit. Okay? I don't give a shit. I just want to keep Americans from dying over there. It's stupid.
Okay, gentlemen. Final segment of the week. The American Idiot of the Week. Holy shit, we almost made it 2 hours. I'm shocked with how little we had. Anyway, with that being said, my American Idiot of the Week is Donald Trump for blocking Joe Biden from receiving these briefings on national security. I'm not even mad at necessarily about the COVID briefings as much as this motherfucker needs these national security briefings. Are you fucking serious? Come on now. Go ahead, Manic Hispanic.
Well, my American Idiot is you, Michael. Yes, you, Michael, for not wanting to bring our troops home and thinking that it is our job to police the world.
And I'm going to have to agree
Hold
with
on, I get
the
2 votes?
Hispanic.
I get 2 votes?
You get 2 votes this week because we should end all the wars. We should bring our troops home. We should stop all that shit. We've been going over this for like 30 minutes now. It's ridiculous.
Sandy supports you. Sandy supports y'all's decision to say
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, with that being said, fucking goddamn it, I don't want to fucking leave people in the lurch. I'm not about leaving people in the lurch. And like Colin Powell said, we got to fix that shit because we fucking caused it. Anyway, anything else, gentlemen?
No.
I got nothing now.
I told y'all it was a slow week in politics. I mean, unless we were going to sit here and hammer the same points about Donald fucking Trump not conceding the election, we weren't going to talk about shit tonight, everybody. But, yeah, it was a fucking great show. I really enjoyed interviewing that band. They were pretty fucking awesome. And
Riverview?
Yeah, it went better than I thought it was
Riverview?
going to. I didn't think we were really going to have
Riverview,
anything in common with the band, with us being a political-based podcast. But, yeah,
You know,
it was actually pretty good.
And most people didn't get to see how we interacted with them before the show. For about 30 minutes, we actually had a pretty good discussion and everything. It was actually that should have been live.
yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. I had a lot of fun talking with him before the show. Poor Manic Hispanic was looking there like, y'all motherfuckers. Poor Manic Hispanic. Like, I feel so bad for him because he's like the one person on this show that tries to be professional.
Yes.
Meanwhile, he's got to deal with me and you just sitting here cutting up all the fucking time.
I know. Always.
Like, I feel like
And I've
poor
tried
Manic
to relax some, but that's just not me. I am a very present yourself how you want to be taken.
Absolutely.
You know, so I try to be professional at all times.
Absolutely. And hey, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. I just feel bad for you because we probably give you a headache every fucking week.
Well, it was like before, I would put my beer in a cup, so I wasn't sitting there drinking beer because I was thinking, man, if some of the people that I go to church with see me drinking beer, it might be a bad thing. But then I realized with y'all cussing, nobody I go to church with is going to stay on and watch.
No,
they're
try not.
No,
try not.
no.
I probably lost our whole.
Yeah.
I probably lost our whole religious right when I said Six Flags over Jesus. But if you've ever seen this show,
Oh no, I'm pretty sure
Six
you
Flags
lost the
over
whole
Jesus.
religious right. months ago in a different episode.
Yeah, it was way before Manic Hispanic came on. It was back in the days of Bad Brad.
This is true. This was back in the original Talk Radio 49 on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah,
days.
right.
So knowing that people really aren't going to watch, it doesn't really matter anymore what I do.
Hey, there you go. Well, Sandy, I see you said you missed out on our interview with Riverview. Go ahead, go onto YouTube. You should be able to look it up, or right here as soon as the video is posted on Facebook. It should take a couple minutes, but you should be able to go watch it again. They came on for about the first 30-35 minutes, and they were pretty awesome.
Make that happen, Michael. Dance, monkey, dance.
I can't make it happen. It's up to Facebook to post the video, not me. Oh, y'all. Well, for the pretty boy and the Manic Hispanic, I'm Money Mike, and I hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week, everybody.